welcome back to the channel. In this lesson, I want us to further use this example to understand how to use mesh analysis in DC networks. We'll be looking for current in I1, I2, and I3. At the end of this example, I will also give you a take-home example that you can use to practice on your own. Okay, let's get started. Now, to find current I1, I2, I3, the first thing we'll do is to identify the loops. We have loop 1, I have identified loop 1, loop 2, and also loop 3. Now, the next thing is to now begin to move around the loops using mesh analysis. Now, I'll start with this loop 1. I'll move in the direction that I've chosen here. Now, going in this direction, going from the negative part of this battery to the positive part. So I'll take this as plus 100 volts minus, I'll move to the next item, which is this resistor. It becomes minus 10 I1 minus 10 again. I have another resistor of 10 ohms. That will be minus 10, but I'm in loop 1. And if you look at this resistor, is under the influence of both I1 and I3. While I1 is moving from the left to the right, I3 is moving from the right to the left. They are moving in opposite direction. So it becomes minus 10 into I1 minus I3. And the last resistor here is this other resistor between I1 and I2. They're also moving in opposite direction. So it becomes minus 10 into I1 minus I2 equals 0. Now, most important in mesh analysis is to observe the direction of the current. If you make a mistake here, you actually miss the question. This is where most students make mistakes. Now, this becomes, let's open the brackets, 100 minus 10 I1 minus 10 I1 minus, or plus now, plus 10 I3, now minus 10 I1 plus 10 I2 equals 0. So that finally I'll have 100, or I'll be taking 100 to the other side. So let's leave 100 first. I have minus 10 I1, minus 10 I1, and minus 10 I1. That makes minus 30 I1. Minus 30 I1. Now the next is the I2. I just have 10 I2 plus 10 I2 plus 10 I3 equals minus 100. Now I'll tag this my equation 1. In loop 2, moving the direction of the current, I have my current moving from the positive part of the battery to the negative part of the battery. So I have minus 50 minus, the next resistor here is the 10 ohms resistor between I2 and I1. I'm in the second loop, so I'll have I2 minus I1. And the other resistor is a 10 ohm resistor between I2 and I3. So I'll have I2 minus I3 equals 0. Let's open the bracket. So I have minus 50 now, minus I2. It is 10, so that I omitted 10. Minus 10 I2 plus 10 I1 minus 10 I2 again plus 10 I3 equals 0. Let's collect like terms. Obviously, I'll have this as 10 I1. I1 is positive. I have minus I2, 10 I2 minus 10 I2. That's minus 20 I2 plus 10 I3 equals 50. Let's tag this my equation 2. Now, let's look at loop 3. That's the last loop. For loop 3, I prefer to start with this 10 ohm resistor here, so that I'll have minus 10 I3. The next 10 ohm resistor is between I3 and I2. Minus 10 I3 minus I2, then minus 10 I3 minus I1 equals 0. So that minus 10 I3 minus 10 I3 plus 10 I2 minus 10I3 plus 10I1 equals 0. Firstly, let's collect like terms. I'll have 10I1 plus 10I2. This is 10I2. This is I2, 10I2 minus 30I3 equals 0. This is my equation 3. I've rewritten my equations. This equation 3. Now, so that to solve this, I'll prefer to use augmented matrix. To solve this, it's a lot easier. We can form our matrices. Let's extract our matrices first. This is minus 30, 10, 10. Here is 10, minus 20, 10, 10, 10, minus 30 into, I'll have it as I1, I2, I3 is equals to minus 100, 50, and 0. Now, to complete our matrices, here is minus 30, 10, 10. Here is 10, minus 20, 10, 10, 10, minus 30, and here is minus 100, 50, and 0. Now, what I'll be doing is I'll be zeroizing this first item, and I'll zerorize this first item here too. Now, the easiest way to do this for the first item here is simply to multiply. Let's multiply this by 3 and add the first row so that it becomes, it should look like this. Here is minus 13, 10, 10. Here's minus 100. Then if I multiply this by 3 and add 10 times 3, that's 30, plus minus 30, that's 0. Now, 10 times 3 times 20, 3 times minus 20, that's minus 60, plus 10, that's minus 50. And 3 now times 10 again, that's 30, plus 10, that's 40. And 50 times 3, that's 150, minus 100, that's 50. Then to zerorize this, the last item here, I want to use this same second rule and the third rule. Now, we must subtract 10 from 10, that's obviously 0. So we can easily subtract the second rule from the third rule. So I've done 10 minus 10, that's 0. Then I'll do 10 minus 20, that's 30. Then I'll do minus 30. I have minus 30 minus 10. That'll be minus 40. You see, you have to be a lot careful. Then I'll do 0 minus 50. That's minus 50. Now the last part is to zerorize this 30. This might be a little bit technical, but just watch the way I'll do it. Now I'll pick minus 50. I'll multiply it by 30 over 50. 50 divided by 50, then I'll be left with minus 30. Obviously, minus 30 plus 30, that's 0. With that, I would have zeroized that line. Now, let's see it. Here's minus 30. Let me just demarcate so that it should be obviously different. That's minus 30, 10, 10. Here's minus 100. Here's 0, minus 50, 40, 50. Now, this is 0. We're zeroizing this line. We agree that minus 30 plus 30, obviously this is 0. Then I have minus 40. It becomes 40 now. I have 14 times 30 over 50. This is 0 here cancels 0. I'm left with 5. 5 here is 1. 5 in 40, that's 8. 8 times 30, that's 24. 24 minus 40, that's obviously minus 16. Now for the last item, that's 50 times 30 again over 50. 50 here is 1, 50 here is 1. Well, I'm left with 30. So I'm adding my 30 to minus 50. That's obviously minus 20. I can close the bracket. Now we've zeroized those we need to zerorize. Here is this line here is the column here is I1. This is the column for I2. This is the column for I3, and obviously these are my results. So that we're saying from the last rule, we're saying that minus 16 I3 is equals to minus 20. So that I3 will be the same thing as minus 20 over minus 16. Minus should cancel my minus. 4 here is 5. 4 here is 4. That's the same thing as 5 over 4, which is equal to 1.25 amps. Now, in case you have gray area with my Gaussian elimination method, the augmented matrix method, you can always check the description below. I'll place a link to the lesson where I explained how to perform Gaussian elimination method in details. Now, to solve for I2, we'll pick the second row, that's minus 50 plus 40. That's minus 50 I2 plus 40 I3 is equals to 50. So that's minus 50 I2 now plus 40 into 1.25 is equals to 50. Now, so that my minus 50 I2 plus 40 times 1.2, this 40, not 4, that's 50 is equals to 50. Let's create some space. Let me try and create some space. Now, so that from here, my minus 50 I2 is equals to 50 minus 50, that's 0. Because 50 is going to the other side, we're collecting like terms, that's 0. Obviously, my I2 is equals to 0 amps. From the first rule, we have that minus 30 I1 plus 10 I2 plus 10 I3 equals minus 100. I2 is 0, so obviously everything I have here is 0. So that's minus 30 I1 plus 10 I3, 10 into 1.25 equals minus 100. So that's minus 30 I1, I still need to create space. So that minus 30 I1 plus 1, that's 12.5 is equals to minus 100. So that minus 30 I1 is equals to minus 100 minus 12.5 minus 30 I1 is equals to minus 1112.5. I1 obviously is equals to 112.5 over 30. Negative signs should cancel each other. Then I1 is equals to 1125.30 over 30, that's something as 3.75 from my calculator amps. Now, so that we can conclude that my I1 is equals to 1.25 amps, my I2 is equals to 0, and my I3 is equals to 3.75 amps. With this, I hope you further understand how to use mesh analysis. I promise giving take-home example. Let's see. I want you to try your hands on this, and I would like I will appreciate if you can share your results with us in the comment section. And this also will form basis for our next lesson. In case you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be sure to receive our lessons anytime we create them. Thank you for staying with us. This is Domoji Math and Science. We're grateful. Thank you for staying with us and see you in our next class.